All right, we are on Daf Kof Yotet 119. Today's daf is all Agadah. We're going to start off with Agadot about the preparation for Shabbat and enjoyment for Shabbat, and then we'll go to some other Agadot about some other tangents. So we start off here where we left off. Rabbi Chanina mi'ata v'kaya panya demale shabbata. Rabbi Chanina would wrap himself in a garment on Friday afternoon in order to greet Shabbat dressed nicely. This is our source that we should dress nicely on Shabbat. Amar bo v'nesed likrat Shabbat hamalka. He calls Shabbat the queen. This is the source of saying l'chadodi by boi kala, comparing Shabbat to a queen. Rabbi Yanai, or there to a bride. Rabbi Yanai labesh maneh ma'aleh Shabbat. Amar boi kala, boi kala. And similar to Yanai would also put on a special garment and say, enter. Interesting, in the Dead Sea Scrolls also mentions that one should dress differently on Shabbat. So this is definitely an old custom. One Shabbat, Rabba happened to come by the house of Rabba bar Nachman, and he brought him 3 se'ah. That's a big container full of oiled biscuits. Says, how'd you know I was coming over? You knew that, and you prepared all these biscuits. Says, what, are you more important than Shabbat? I actually prepared these cakes for Shabbat, and you happen to come over, and so you're welcome to enjoy them. So he would always prepare extra food in honor of Shabbat, and I suppose guests that might come on Shabbat as well. Rabbi Abba zeban betelesar astire peshite bisra metelesar tabahe. Rabbi Abba used to buy 13 pieces of meat that each worth a stater. Istare is a Greek word which is a coin like this, stater. And so he would spend a lot of money buying 13 different types of meats in honor of Shabbat. And he would put them. He would go around and then he would bring them to his home and put them at the door. And he would tell the cooks, hurry up and cook it. In other words, he was running around all day on Friday finding the best meat and getting his chefs to prepare it nicely for him. Rabbi Abahu would sit on a beautiful ivory chair and fan the fire to get it to be hotter so that they'd be cooking on Shabbat. But he did it on an ivory chair because this is an honorable thing to do. Rabbanan, he would wear a simple black garment while he was preparing. The Tanah de Rabbi Ishmael begadim shebishel behen kedara l'rabbo alim zod behen kos l'rabbo. Although he's doing something very important, he's preparing. So actually, we saw this a couple of Daf Kof Yod Daled. We saw the same statement of Rabbi Ishmael, and there he quoted it in the context of the Kohen Gadol would wear a lower set of clothing when he was taking out the ashes, and he would wear it to change and wear a higher set of clothing when he was actually offering korban or ketoret. And so it's appropriate to dress differently when you're preparing or actually serving. And so too here, on Friday afternoon, he was running around preparing to meet the queen, and only on Shabbat then he would change and wear nicer clothes in its honor, which is a slight tension with the ivory, but I guess it's not, because they're both doing different things and considering Shabbat honored. I think one of the points of all these things is that several of these rabbis were wealthy and had servants and could have didn't really have to work themselves. But the point is that they would act themselves and do it personally because they wanted to give that level of honor for Shabbat themselves. So more examples of Safra Macharech Resha. He would roast the head of an animal, prepare for Shabbat. He'd go and cook himself. Rava Malach Shibuta. He would salt these fish. Rav Huna Madlik Sherageh. He would light the lamps. La Papa Gadel Petilta. He would spin the wicks, prepare the wicks to make them nice. Rav Chista Harem Silka. Rav Chista would cut beets. Rabba Rav Yosef mesalche sibe. They would cut thin sticks so that they could kindle the fire before Shabbat and it would burn well. Rabbi Zera mesatat situte. Rabbi Zera, sorry, he would prepare. Sorry, the one before would cut wood. He would prepare thin sticks for kindling. He would carry things in, carry things out. He would do all the physical labor in preparation for Shabbat. Amad, it's as if my colleagues would come over. Would I not myself go and carry things in and out in their honor? Certainly I would. So all the more so I should do that for Shabbat. And some say it was different names of sages, the ones that were the guests before, now the ones that are bringing out and bringing in, and they're the ones that said, if Rabbi Yochanan, their teacher, would come, wouldn't we do this ourselves? Okay, so the two different versions of the statement, but everybody would have done it for their colleagues and their teachers, so all the more so they would do this for Shabbat. Okay, now we have the story of Yosef Mokir Shabbat. This is one of my favorite stories, and I'm actually going to show it to you in a different version because it's a story that has a chiasm, A, B, C, D, E, E, D, C, B, A. I'll show you the importance of the chiasm, so we'll learn it from with the structure in mind. It's a really, really beautiful story. Yosef Mokir Shaveh. This is Yosef. He was known as Yosef who honors the Shabbat. He was always known, he did that mitzvah with special zeal. There was certain non-Jew in his neighborhood who owned a lot of property. One day, a soothsayer, an astrologer in Babel, he believed a lot in astrology. So this non-Jew goes to the astrologer and he says, all of your property is going to be eaten by Yosef Mokir Shabbat. Eat literally, but it means also will be consumed by, will be acquired by. Okay, so that's what the astrologer says. And so, as in all similar stories, whenever someone's fate is bound to be something, they always try to get out of it, like Oedipus and others. But whatever they do, they can never get out of their fate. But he tries. So this non-Jew, he goes and sells all of his property. He buys one jewel with it. He figures he can hold on to the jewel, personally, and that way, and that can't be taken from him. He put it in his turban, in his hat, a big safe place there. As he's walking over a bridge one day, a wind comes and blew off his hat and the stone, and it went into the water, and a fish came and swallowed the jewel. So it's appropriate that the transfer happens as he's going over a bridge, right? That's always a place of transition from one place to another, and so too that's the point of transition of this jewel. Now going to the fish. Some fishermen happened to catch this very fish on Friday afternoon. Nice, beautiful fish. They said, who's going to buy a fish now? Everybody already did their Shabbat shopping. It's right before Shabbat's going to start. Who would buy it? And they said, go and bring it to Yosef, who honors the Shabbat, because he always buys. In other words, if you have something nice for Shabbat, even though he's all prepared already, he will go and spend extra and get yet another nice fish for Shabbat. So they brought it to him, and sure enough, yes, he bought it. He tears open the fish, the fillet. He finds the jewel in it. And he sells the jewel for a price of 13 roomfuls of golden coins. Right, that's how much this jewel is worth. And Joseph happens to pass by and meets some elder, meaning a Jewish sage. Amar mandi azif Shabbata, para'aya Shabbata. Whoever lends to Shabbat, Shabbat will give back to him. Will repay him. So you see that the A and A are parallel to each other because the first one is the prediction of the astrologer, which actually comes true, right? In fact, what he says is true, that Yosef will acquire everything. And the end is parallel by the promise of the Jewish elder that whoever gives to Shabbat in merit, they receive. So although both of their statements come true, the difference is that one is in the realm of fate, just astrological fate, and the other, that's the non-Jewish context, and the Jewish context is within the Jewish belief of free will and tzachar ba'onish, that if you do good for Shabbat, you honor Shabbat, then you get reward for it. And so the point is that the non-Jew lives in the world of astrology, and he can never get out of that. And kind of his punishment is that he has to live in that very belief, which ends up hurting him. Whereas the Jew lives within the world of Torah, and within that world, one merits for his good deeds. So that's A and A are parallel. Those are both the promises or predictions. B is when he sells his fields, and B is where he sells the jewel and acquires now back to money. C is when he buys the jewel, the non-Jew buys a jewel. C prime here is when Yosef acquires the jewel and he finds it. D is when the non-Jew places it in his turban. D prime is when Yosef opens the fish and then recovers it from where it had been hidden. And E are the transition points where he's going over and it goes and the swift fish swallows it. And here's where the fish is caught and brought to Yosef. So the transition from one half to the other represents a transition from the non-Jew to the Jew. And I think this story, as its main point, is that one should honor Shabbat. That's what it's doing here in the context of all the things that people did to prepare for Shabbat, and even go and spend extra money right before Shabbat, and even though he probably had food already. That's the immediate context. But more than that, this story is very deep also in that it compares two entire worldviews, that of fate and astrology versus the world of Torah, where one's future, what happens to someone, actually is not fated, but depends on whether they do good deeds or not. Okay, so anyway, that's a fantastic story that is here, and now we go on to the next. Be'amineh b'Rabbi Yishmael b'Rabbi Yosef ashirim sheberetz Yisrael v'mehem zochin. A question Rabbi Yehuda Nasi asked Rabbi Yishmael, says, how come the rich people in Eretz Yisrael, by what merit? We just talked about different things of merit. So what merit are they rich? And he said, B'shvil she'asirin shlemad, aser te'aser, asher b'shvil shetit asher, because they give 10% of their wealth to the poor, as the pasuk says, aser te'aser, which means you shall surely give 10%, give tithes. But the rabbis reread it as aser, give 10th, and move the sin over to the shin as another original sin here, right? But make it a shin, and you should give tithes so that you will become rich, and that's why the people get rich in Eretz Yisrael. Over there, the people honor Torah, and in that merit they become rich. How about other places? Because they honor the Shabbat, that's why they get rich, which is parallel to the Yosef, which is a general statement of the story we just saw about Yosef. He becomes rich because he honors the Shabbat. In other words, don't feel bad that you're paying a little extra to get a nice meal for Shabbat. One will be repaid. ואמר רבי חייא בר אבא, פעם אחת נתאכלתי אצל בעל הבית בלודקיה, והביאו לפניו שולחן שזהב מסוי 16 בני אדם, ו16 שלשלאות של כסף קבועות בו, וקלות וכוסות וקיתוניות וסלוחיות קבועות בו. One day Rabbi Chiya was hosted by this homeowner, and they brought him a table made out of gold. They required 16 people to carry it, and chains of silver, and bowls, and pitchers, and all kinds of food, and great spices. He was amazed, and he said, when they brought it in and put it down, they said, to God belongs everything in the world. In other words, they were going to have a sense of gratitude, that all this riches and everything they have comes from Shamayim, God owns everything. However, after they ate all the food and now they acquired it, they quote a different pasuk which says that the realm of heaven belongs to God, but the realm of earth belongs to human beings. In other words, now we've taken it, we've consumed it, and so that was their way of both thanking God, recognizing before that it comes from Him, but now that He gave it not Tanib Nadam, He gave it to us. That was their blessing. So Amarti Lo, he's witnessing all that, and he says, Beni b'mea zachita lekach, by what merit do you have all this wealth? Amar li, hasav hayiti. Mikol be'ma shiti na'eh, amarti zo tel Shabbat, amarti lo, ashrecha shezachita baruch makom shezikecha lekach. Because actually I was a butcher, which in those days was a pretty low job. But every animal, if it was a nice animal, I would say this one will be for Shabbat. And if a nicer one came, I would say this one would be for Shabbat. And because of that, he was merited to become very wealthy. Amalo kesal Rabbi Yoshua ben Hananya mipnei ma tabshir shel basar echon nodef. His question is, how come the Shabbat food smells so good? I don't know how he knew. Maybe he came over someone, the Roman emperor. Okay, he's smelling the Shabbat food. How does it smell so good? Amar lo tablin echad yesh lanu v'shevet shemo shanu matilin letocho v'rocho nodef. Says we have a special spice. It's called Shabbat. Shabbat means dill. And we put it in the food and it smells fantastic. So the emperor says, give me some, I want some of that. Amar lo, kol meshamer et Shabbat, mo'il lo. V'sheno meshamer et Shabbat, eno mo'il lo. So now here's the thing. Not anybody could use it, only if you keep Shabbat, then it works. Then it brings the smell. If you don't keep Shabbat, it doesn't work. So they're making a play on Shevet, which is dill, and Shabbat, which means Shabbat. So I think this is true. You can make the same dish on Wednesday night and on Friday night, and somehow, right, when you walk into the kitchen on Friday, the smell is very special. Okay. What does this mean in Pasuk in Yeshaya, which we've been discussing about the honor of Shabbat? The next Pasuk says, to the holy one of Hashem you should honor. Pasuk before talked about Shabbat already. So what is the holy one? Amar le ze Yom Kippurim. This is coming to include that we should honor Yom Kippur. How do you honor Yom Kippur? You can't eat and drink on it. Still, you can dress nicely, right? Even though this is a day of repentance and serious day, it's also a holiday, also a special day, and one should be mechabedo, right? Honor it with nice clothing. Okay, and now when you honor, now back to Shabbat, when you honor Shabbat, how does one honor Shabbat? Some people, they have a nice meal all the time. So Shmuel says, you make it a little bit later. Rav says you may eat a little bit earlier than usual. Shmuel says you eat a little bit later than usual. Your Shabbat meal should be at a different time than the usual meal. And that's how you honor it. So the children of Rav Papa, we're wealthy. We always have meat and wine every day. So how could we make Shabbat special? We spend to the max every day. If you usually eat early, then eat later. That way you'll be hungrier and you'll enjoy the meal more. If you usually eat late, then make it earlier, and then you'll enjoy eating earlier. Rav Sheshat, when he would sit and give the lecture on Shabbat morning, it seems, after the tefillah, they would have a shiur. So in the summer, he would Yeah, in the summer, he would have the students sit where the sun is. So then it'd be very hot. And the winter, he put them in the shade, so it'd be extra cold. Why do you want to make the students uncomfortable? So that immediately after the shiur, they would go home and they wouldn't stick around. If they were comfortable, they would stick around, they would be talking, they would be learning. And Shabbat, there's a time for prayer, there's a time for learning, but that's it. After that time, they should go home and enjoy the Shabbat and have a nice meal. And so he made them uncomfortable so that they would not stay, but go home and enjoy Shabbat. Rabbi Zera mehader azuzeh zuzeh Rabbanan. Yeah, Rabbi Zera, when he would see pairs of sages who were discussing Torah, but he would say, okay, it's good, nice to learn Torah, but there's a time, but don't desecrate Shabbat. And by studying all day, you have to make time for having a beautiful meal. Which is our custom. And someone praying by them on their own, you always say Vaychulu. Probably talking about the Vaychulu that's in the middle, in the Amidah itself of Shabbat, of Erev Shabbat. Right, absolutely profound midrash. Anyone who says Vaychulu and gives a testimony to the creation of the world, that God created the world, is as if that person is actually a partner in creating the world together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shemar, Vaychulu, antikre Vaychulu ella Vaychalu. Don't read it as a passive verb, that the heavens and earth were finished, but rather they finished. Actively, they finished. Referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but also the people saying Vaychulu are joined in. How does this work? We didn't actually weren't there at the creation of the world, but the point is when one says something, it's as if one does something. Dibur is like maaseh. Even God himself created the world through language, through saying. So therefore, when we join with our words and we attest to the creation of the world, then we are partners in it. Okay, it's kind of like, if a world is created and there's no one there to see it, is it really created? No, it needs human beings to recognize the Creator, and by recognizing the Creator, we perform an essential part of the creation itself and appreciate it, and then can thereby fulfill its goal. Okay, beautiful Agada. Amar Rav Chisda, Amar Morukva. Kol mitpalel b'erev Shabbat, omer vaychulu shnei malachei asheret hamelavin lo le'adam hanichin yedehen al rosho v'mirim lo v'sar avonecha v'chatatcha techupar. Anyone who says vaychulu, the two angels that are always accompanying him put their heads on his head, hands on his head, and they say, "May all your sins go away." Because he's attesting that God is the creator. So whatever mistakes he made, we see that his intention is good. And Nina, this is a very famous Agadah, we all learned as kids, that two angels accompany someone at Shabbat when he goes from back home from Bet Knesset back to his home. A good angel and a bad angel. When they come home and they see that they lit the candles and set the table and the bed is all nice and made. It seems that it was a bit of a job to make the beds. It was made out of like straw, and you had to, actually kind of had to build the bed every day. So the good angel would say, "May it be so every week." Amen. The bad angel is forced to say, "Yes, I agree. Amen. It should be so next week." They laugh. They come home and they see nothing's prepared for Shabbat. It's like a regular night. The evil one says, "May this happen next week also," that they don't merit to enjoy Shabbat. In other words, the part of the reward of enjoying Shabbat is the fact that one can enjoy Shabbat. אמר רבי אלעזר לעולם יסדר אדם שולחנו בשבת אף על פי שאינו צריך אלא לחזאית. Even if someone's not going to eat a lot, they're on a diet, they don't have a lot of food, they ate before, only going to eat the minimum amount of kazait, still set your table and make it beautiful. Similarly, after Shabbat on Saturday night, you want to escort the queen out. You should also, even if you're not going to eat a lot, Shabbat ends late, you're not hungry, still set the table nicely for that meal. Good idea is to have some warm water, drink warm water, wash with warm water on Saturday night, and also have some warm bread. I guess the idea is that on Shabbat itself, they didn't have hot food and hot water. They didn't have easy ways to keep things hot for so long. And so, especially if it was cold out, you'd be might have the shivers by the end of Shabbat. So some warm bread and some warm water on Saturday night are a good antidote. So an example of someone who honored the Motzei Shabbat as it left is who would take a thirdborn quick calf. Thirdborn was considered the best. Anybody? I'm a thirdborn kid. Anybody else thirdborn? Thirdborns are the best. In the case of animals, it seems it's because the cow gives birth when it's very young, not yet mature. So the first two kids aren't quite up to par. But the third one, that's already the best calf. Okay, and so he would get the best kind of calf and kill it, and he would eat just the kidney. He liked the kidney. And he'd kill a whole animal every Saturday night just to eat that kidney to honor Shabbat leaving. When his son grew up, why are you ruining a whole animal every week? You're wasting it. We'll save one kidney. You like the kidney, okay? So the calf that we slaughter on Friday, we'll keep one kidney from it for Motzei Shabbat. So they did it. They tried it one week. So they left the animal, and turns out a lion came and ate it. So the point is, it was destined to be used on Saturday night. You think you're saving money, you're saving the animal? No, you should spend also on the Saturday night meal. Okay, this is not related to Shabbat directly, but it seems to be related to other things that it says you erase one's sins. So yet another thing, someone who says Amen Yeshua Nabat, answer the Kaddish with all his might, God tears up his decrees against him. Of course, b'chol doesn't mean you should say it as loud as possible, because that's another halacha. You shouldn't respond louder than the Chazan, but it means with all of your intention. And we learn this from Shirat Devorah, says Bifro Peraot B'Israel Itnadev Am Baruchu Hashem. Bifro Perot, literally this means when they translate, JPS translate, when locks go untrimmed. Perot is to loosen, in other words, when the heroes come with their hair all disheveled. Or it could mean Peraot, meaning vengeance. So Bifro Perot, when vengeance is performed in Israel, vengeance against the enemies. But this Talmud is taking it kind of as a double negative. When vengeance is nullified, when vengeance comes back. So the idea here is that when does punishment, bad things get undone? When one says Yeshua Abba with all his might. My tama bifroa peraot mishum bebarechu Hashem. When is peraot? When are bad things undone? When one blesses God. Even if one does a little bit of idolatry, not full on, but a little bit, even that gets canceled out. After all, he's giving his praise, he's giving his allegiance and saying, praise is the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you see what he really thinks. We're going to get to Egel, it says that same word, paruahu. We see that the people are wild, are out of sorts, and so saying Yeshua Abba can undo that as well. Merish Lakish kol ha'oneh amen b'chol kocho potchim lo sharei gan eden she'emar betchu sharim v'goy sadik shomer emunim al tikre shomer emunim ela she'omerim amen. So the word shomer emunim we re-punctuate and kind of combine the word letters differently, and you say Shom She Omrim, as if there's a hidden aleph there. She Omrim, and we have that word Amen here. We take the Yud and put it over here. Okay, we've switched this around a bit. And the point is that those who say Amen will merit to have the gates opened for the Tzaddikim, meaning the gates of Gan Eden. What does Amen stand for? Rabbi Chanina, El Melech Ne'eman. God is a faithful king.
So why do we assume that Amen Yehi Shemer Rabba refers to Kaddish?
What else? What else do you think it refers to?
I don't know. I don't know, but do we have an indication elsewhere that this refers to specifically Kaddish?
We don't. The entire prayer of Kaddish is not found in the Talmud, but there is a section of it where that Rabbi Akiva says, and I think it does have this section. So it's built upon. So I would say the opposite, really. Our text of Kaddish uses this Talmud and the others to put together the text that we have. So saying Yeshem Rabba in the prayer that we now have as Kaddish. I'll say it that way. It's more accurate.
Okay.
Amar Rav Yehuda bered Rav Shmuel mishmei Rav en adileka mesuya ella b'makom sheyesh chilul Shabbat. Shemar im lo tishmeu elai lekadesh et yom HaShabbat v'tise'et masa v'esati esh b'sharei v'achalad motea Yerushalayim v'lo tichbeh. So he says that a fire breaks out only in a place where people don't keep Shabbat. This gets back to the theme of our entire Perek, which is if a fire breaks on Shabbat, then what are the things that you can save? And this is saying that fires don't break out on Shabbat for just by happenstance. One will have to violate Shabbat because one violated Shabbat, the fire will come. How do we know all this? Well, in Yirmiyah, when he talks about the laws of Shabbat, and he tells the people, do not buy and sell, don't bring things to the gates, and he says, otherwise, there will be fire consuming the palace of Jerusalem and will not be extinguished. So Yirmiyah explicitly makes that connection. Doesn't mean velo tichbeh, they won't be put out. Why can't they be put out? The fire will break out, and at a point when the people are not around to put it out, right? It'll be in the middle of the night, when they're sleeping, when they're out eating, whenever, and so they will not be put out right away and cause a lot of destruction. In fact, not only one home, but the entire Jerusalem was destroyed because people desecrated Shabbat. And we'll see yet even more things of why Jerusalem was destroyed. There's a lot of reasons. People weren't saying Kiryat Shema in the morning and night. That's why Jerusalem was destroyed. So it's talking about the people. It's talking about the people who are early in the morning they're drinking, and at night they're drinking, and they're playing instruments and having parties, but the works of God they do not see. In other words, they do not testify to God's works. They are not saying Shema, and because of that, they will be exiled. It's all back to back, 3 Pesukim in Yeshaya. אמר רב חמנונה, לא חל בירושלים אלא בשביל שביטלו בה תינוקות של בית רבן, שנאמר שפוך על עולל בחוץ. מה טעם שפוך? משום דעולל בחוץ. Jerusalem was destroyed because children were not sitting and studying Torah. As Pasuk says, God has so much anger, he can't contain it. He's going to pour it out onto people, even to the children in the street, is the simple reading. But it talks about olal bahutz, so this is not only part of the punishment, but also a description of the sin, that because the kids are outside and not inside studying Torah, that's why the destruction happens. Amar ola lo halvay shamay bnei shelo haya sham boshet panim mize shnamar obishu ki toeva asu gam bosh lo yeboshu. Jerusalem was destroyed because people were not embarrassed of one another. Even if someone did something bad to the other person, they didn't even care. You know, people do negative things, but at least they show embarrassment, they show shame. Here, they were not even ashamed. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak lo halvay shamesh b'shet shehu shavu חתן וגדול, שנאמר, וכעם ככהן. בתרי, בוק תבוק הארץ. Jerusalem is destroyed because there was no hierarchy. People, whether they're older or young, everybody was treated the same. In other words, people did not respect the elders, did not respect the leaders, the religious leaders, and therefore everything became anarchy and was destroyed. אמר רבי אמנם ברד רבי יהושע בר אבא, אמר רבי שמעון בר אבא, אמר רבי חנינא, וחרבה יש להם בשביל שלא הוכיחו זה לזה, שמא היו שרי כאיילים, לא מעשהו מרעה. מה היה זה? ראשו של זה, בסד זנבו של זה, אף ישראל שבאותו דור כבשו פניהם בקרקע, לא הוכיחו זה את זה. So Jerusalem was destroyed because the people did not rebuke one another. Each day they saw, we see someone doing something wrong, you got to go and, in a nice way, in a productive way, get them to change their ways. So Echa says that the leaders were like ayalim, like stags, that when they walk, each one just follows the other. They don't look at where they're going. They just look at the tail of the one before. In other words, the leaders were not looking at the people were not looking at the leaders, the people around them, the people in front of them, to see if they're going in the right direction. If the front one is going off a cliff, they'll just follow off the cliff. And so each one of the leaders put their head in the ground and didn't look, made believe they didn't look, so that they didn't have to rebuke each one the other. They should have been more responsible. אמר רבי יהודה, לא חרבה יש להם אלא בשביל שביזו בתלמידי חכמים, שנאמר ויהיו מלעיבים מלאכי אלוהים ובוזים דבריו ומתעתעים בנביאיו עד עלות חמת השם בעד בעמו עד לאין מרפא. As Jerusalem was destroyed because the people disparaged the Talmidei Chachamim. Look how very interesting how they learn this from the pasuk. The pasuk is talking about that the people mocked the messengers of God, the prophets. So you see the rabbis equate the making fun of the prophets who are God's messengers with the people that were disparaging the sages, Talmidei Chachamim. So you see here, knowledge of Torah replacing the ability of prophets. I mean, when prophets could hear God's word directly, when there were no more prophets, it was the sages who could read and interpret the words of prophecy that were their replacement. But the point is the same. My ad and marpeh doesn't mean that they couldn't be healed. When disparages Torah scholars will not be healed, that will be the punishment. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, my dichtib al tigiu b'mshichai u'b'nbi'ai al taneu. What's pasuk in Devarim mean? Do not touch my anointed ones, and prophets do no harm. Al tigiu b'mshichai ela tinokot shel bet rabban. Meshichai is referring to the kids studying in school. B'nbi'ai al taneu al tamidei chamim, that they will not be harmed. אמר ריש לקיש משום רבי יהודה הנשיאה, אין העולם מתקיים בשביל שהבל תינוקות של בית רבן. The whole world exists only for the breath of children who are reciting Torah. So there's two great sages says, how about our Torah that we're learning? Why only the Torah of the kids? I mean, they're just reciting, Pesukim by heart. We are saying high-level discussions. How about us? Our breath, speech of one who has sin, meaning us, we're adults, and so, even though they're great sages, nobody can claim not to have any sin, cannot be compared with children who are innocent, and so their Torah is pure. It said the children studying Torah is so important. Even if Mashiach comes and says it's time to build the Bet HaMikdash, we don't interrupt the children from their study. We get someone else to build it. Learning their recitation of Torah is more important than the building of the Bet HaMikdash. There's another place, I think, where we see the transition that the rabbis make from the world of Kohanim and the Bet HaMikdash to the world of Torah, right? I mean, in the times of Tanakh, certainly the Bet HaMikdash would be the most important, but that becomes after there are no more prophets and no more Bet HaMikdash, that's replaced with the world of Torah. And here's one example expresses that directly. אומר שקיש ביהודה הנשיאה, כך מקובלם אבותיי, ואמרי לה מאבותיך, כל עיר שאין בה תינוקות של בית רבן, מחריבין אותה. רבינו אמר, מחריבין אותה. Any city where there are Jewish families there, but there's no school, and the kids are not sitting and studying Torah, that city will be destroyed. Rabina says it will be chayrim. In other words, not only it will be destroyed, but chayrim, it can never be rebuilt. Jerusalem was destroyed. Now we're getting back to the same phrase we had before. The Jerusalem was destroyed because there were no more faithful, trustworthy people. Yirmiyah says, go and see if there's any good people. It reminds you of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It's Abraham. See if there's any good people. How many? Can you find 50, 10? And then God says, I will forgive the entire city. In other words, there were no more faithful people. Okay, that's what Rava says. Ini, hold on, is that true? Now we have a bit of a midrash. The point of this is that there are faithful people. We're going to prove it from a couple of Pesukim in Yeshaya. Even when Jerusalem was failing, there still always were some faithful people. In those days, people would grab on, show you the original Pesukim, and he says, should a man sees his brother, right? And says, you have clothing, be a chief over us. In other words, it's going to be a very low bar. Someone who has anything, the people will go and says, you be the head over us. And let this ruin be under your care. Right? This thing can be so destroyed, anyone can be in charge. This pasuk reminds me of Rosh Yeshiva of Yehuda Amital, who was a Holocaust survivor, and he came to Israel in 1947. And then they had the War of Independence broke out, and they went to him and says, "Okay, you're a general. This is what I have no experience. I've never been in the army. I don't know anything. I have no training. I can't even shoot a gun." He says, "Okay, you're a little bit smarter than most of the other people around. That's it. You're a general." He always told that story. So the people are going to be looking for anything. And the person that they want to be ahead will say, no, I can't be a dresser of wounds. I don't have anything. I don't have bread. I don't have clothing in my house. Do not make me a leader. In other words, it's going to be such a lack of leadership. Anyone will be asked, and no one will want to take the reins. Okay, so we're going to make a midrash on this about Torah knowledge. לאמור, שמלה לך כסין תהיה לנו, דברים שבני אדם מתכסין בה כשמלה, ישנן בידיך. The things that people generally hide themselves, like someone hides himself behind clothing, you have in you. In other words, most people around, they just kind of make believe they're knowledgeable of Torah, but they're not. But you really know Torah. So they say, come and be a teacher upon us. המחשבה הזאת תהיה ידיך. דברים שאין אדם, בני אדם עומדים עליהם אלא כי הם נכשלים בהן, ישנן תחת ידיך. Let this stumbling block be yours. What does that mean? The stumbling block is yours. That things that people generally stumble over, which are words of Torah. Words of Torah are difficult. You have to go through it many times and stumble over it until you get it right. But you've done that, and you have it all under your hand. You're knowledgeable. So therefore, be our leader. And the person will say no. The word yisa in the beginning of that pasuk means the person says making a swear, as we see in the Dibrot, the third one, right? Don't take God's name, meaning it meant a swear. So the person will says, no, I swear. It says, I am not the kind of person who I don't close myself up in the Bet Midrash. I was not a matmid. I didn't study. I don't have bread. I don't have clothing. Bread means Torah, Mishnah, even basic recitation of the oral law. I don't have any of that. Okay, so that's the end. That's the question. The point is here you have people going to this person and say, be a leader. We know you're knowledgeable, and the person doesn't cover up and say, oh yes, I know everything. I will be the leader. But rather, he's honest enough to say, I'm not worthy to be a leader. I don't know everything. I only know a little bit. So you see that this is a person of integrity, of honesty. Even though he's not a great sage, he is ish emunim. And so you see that this was happening before the destruction, and there was a trustworthy person. Okay, that's the question to what we said before, that there was that Jerusalem was destroyed because there's no worthy people. I mean, it's interesting to call the worthy person someone who at least admits that how little he knows. Okay. No, there it's different. How do you know that he admitted his ignorance because he's an honest person? Maybe he knows if he says he's knowledgeable, they're going to say, okay, now teach us. And what is he going to do? He doesn't know anything. How is he going to teach them? So it's going to be revealed, and then he'll be embarrassed. That's why he admitted it, not because he's an honest person. No, he's still an honest person. He could have said, oh yes, I used to know everything. I was a great scholar, but now I'm older, I forgot it. And so they still would have had to give him respect and made him the leader, and they would understand why he couldn't teach them. So in other words, the point is that there still is and he says, I never closed myself up in the Bet Midrash to study. It means at all. I don't know it now. I never knew it before, not that I forgot it. So we're back to our contradiction. It's different. One is talking about words of Torah. There were people who were honest with others regarding the level of Torah. But what was lacking altogether? People who were honest in business. They couldn't find anyone who was faithful, who was trustworthy, and because of that, Jerusalem was destroyed. This is good, appropriate to keep in mind as we come up to the 3 weeks starting next week. All the reasons that Jerusalem was destroyed, I think the rabbis are teaching here because these are ongoing problems, and hopefully, if we fix these problems, then we can merit to see its full redemption. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen ve'amen.